She hid it for 20 years, until the truth finally surfaced. For 45-year-old Laura Bennett, life had already thrown enough at her. A recent divorce, a job she no longer loved, and the constant feeling that time was slipping away. She believed she had survived the worst. That belief shattered the morning she found a plain white envelope in her mailbox. No return address, no stamps. Someone had placed it there by hand. Inside was a single sheet of paper, and one sentence: "I know what you did 20 years ago." No signature, no hint of who wrote it. Laura felt her heartbeat slow, then quicken again, pounding painfully against her ribs. She didn't need a name to understand. She knew exactly what the message meant. For 2 decades she tried to bury that memory, to convince herself it would stay in the past forever. But the past had finally caught up. 20 years earlier, Laura had been a completely different person. Young, optimistic, and proud to have landed a summer job as a counselor at Pinebrook Youth Camp. It wasn't glamorous work, but it felt meaningful. Fresh air, kids running around, bonfires, songs, a chance to do something good. Among the campers was a quiet girl named Olivia Marsh. Thin, pale, with oversized gray eyes that always seemed to be observing everything. Olivia rarely spoke unless she was spoken to. She preferred drawing alone in her notebook. Most counselors didn't pay her much attention, but Laura did. And soon she realized something was very wrong with the girl. Olivia flinched whenever someone raised their voice. She never undressed in the shared changing room. She always wore long sleeves, even in the heat. When Laura once accidentally touched her arm, Olivia jerked away as if burned. Laura tried to talk to the camp director, but he brushed her off. "She's just shy," he said. "Don't make problems where there are none." But the gut feeling stayed. One evening, during a violent thunderstorm, Olivia disappeared. The camp erupted in panic. Counselors searched the forest, calling her name. Hours passed. Rain turned the paths into mud. Flashlights flickered. Finally, Laura found her. The girl was standing at the edge of the old quarry behind the camp, a dangerous, forbidden spot with unstable cliffs and deep water. Lightning illuminated her tiny figure, soaked, trembling, staring down into the blackness. Laura approached slowly, speaking softly, trying not to scare her. Olivia turned, tears mixing with rain. "He's coming for me," she whispered. "I heard him. He found me." Laura didn't understand until she saw fear twist the girl's face in a way she had never seen before. And then Olivia stepped forward. Instinct took over. Laura lunged, grabbing the girl's wrist. Her foot slipped in the mud. The ground crumbled under their weight. For a split second, Laura thought they would both fall. But she held on. She pulled Olivia back onto solid ground. The girl collapsed, sobbing into her arms. "What happened to you?" Laura whispered. But Olivia only shook her head violently, refusing to say more. The next day, the camp director shut down all questions. Olivia was picked up early by a relative, and just like that, she was gone. Laura never saw her again. But she did find something in the girl's cabin that she never told anyone about. Olivia's notebook. Page after page of drawings. Dark, disturbing sketches of a tall man with no face, a belt in his hand, a locked door, a child curled in the corner, and on the last page, "No one will believe me." Laura had intended to turn the notebook in, but she hesitated. What if the director covered it up? What if the girl's family denied everything? She didn't trust the system. She didn't trust anyone. So she kept it, hid it, buried the truth under the weight of time. Now, 20 years later, someone knew, and that someone wanted her to pay. The next day, a second envelope arrived. This one contained a photo, a recent one, of Olivia, alive, an adult, standing in front of a building Laura didn't recognize. On the back was another message. "You should have spoken up." Laura's hands shook. Guilt she had carried for decades came rushing back, heavier than ever. She had saved the girl's life, but she hadn't saved her from what came afterward. She had stayed silent. Maybe silence had destroyed Olivia more than anything else. Driven by fear and responsibility, Laura began searching. She used social media, old camp records, anything she could get her hands on. Days passed, nights blended together. Piece by piece, she rebuilt the fragments of Olivia's trail, and finally, she found the building from the photo. A private recovery center for survivors of childhood abuse. Olivia was a patient there. Laura hesitated, but she knew she had to go. She owed the girl at least the truth. Olivia was sitting alone in the garden behind the facility when Laura approached, her gray eyes still filled with the same quiet sadness, lifted slowly. "You got my letters," Olivia said. Not a question, a statement. "You wrote them?" Laura whispered. Olivia nodded. "I needed you to remember," she said quietly, "because I remembered everything." Laura felt her chest tighten. "I'm so sorry. I should have—" "Yes," Olivia interrupted softly. "You should have told someone. You should have helped me speak. You were the only adult I trusted." Laura's voice broke. "I was scared I'd make it worse. I thought I was protecting you." Olivia looked down at her hands. "Your silence protected him, not me." The words cut deeper than any threat ever could. But then Olivia took a slow breath. "You were also the first person who ever tried to save me," she added. "That night at the quarry, I'm still alive because of you." They sat in silence. Rain began to fall, gentle, unlike the storm of 20 years ago. After a long moment, Olivia held out a sealed envelope. "This is the statement I'm ready to give the police," she said. "I want you to come with me, to be there when I finally tell everything." Laura took the envelope with trembling hands. "Whatever you need," she whispered. "I'm with you." For the first time, Olivia managed a faint, fragile smile. "Good," she said, "because the truth is coming out now. All of it." When they stood up and walked toward the entrance of the center, Laura realized something. She had spent 20 years fearing the truth, but the truth had never been her enemy. Silence was. And now, at last, that silence was broken.